Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more of the RISS. This is becoming a pretty close series between Bonyth and Sziky. We are on game number 6. Sziky has made it a lot closer in these last two games on a little bit of a run. Bonyth still leads 3-2, so could end up winning it. And we are going into an insane map here. This map is Outsider. Okay, Outsider is a map that has spawned more maps than maybe any other. You may recall some of these maps like Blockchain or the Current Ladder, an ASL map, Nemesis. There's a lot of maps like this that have an outside ring of bases that's incredibly hard to get to. Now, Outsider was really the first map like this, and people really liked the concept. This is not a particularly well-balanced map, but it's very interesting. I'll show you as we get around the edges, but basically there's mineral lines that disconnect everything around the map, but you can kind of travel around the whole map if you like mine them out. So the only other way in is through like drop ships or flying units, things like that. Now, you can see here, this is like a very basic thing. We're going to go down and be able to take that frontal expansion. One thing to note is that these expansions in the front, like the naturals, are not very far from each other, right? This is always something I felt when I played this map. You know, this map was very popular for a little bit, so like everyone that's been around a long time has played it a fair amount, and the travel distance just does not feel very far. I should be more technical and know the exact seconds, but yeah, that's it's something that I've always thought about this map. So like you can definitely put on that early pressure, but there's expansions in the back that you can go to. Now, Bonyth is doing one of these 2 gates in main base builds. We've seen this from him already in this series, and he's done quite a good job with it. We'll see if he is able to like kind of maintain the pressure that screws Sziky up here in the early game. Sziky did go for a pool first, so he's already got 6 slings on the way. And of course, as Bonyth scouts this, he's going to know, okay, we got to be a little bit careful with these initial zealots. And it looks like he will send out the first one. We saw him do this previously as well. So obviously, you know, with 6 slings, like 6 slings really beat 1 zealot. It's 4 against 1 is where it's very micro-based. Like, really excellent micro on either side could win, but Zerg should be able to win it, right? Like, if they both micro perfectly, Zerg ends up winning that 4 versus 1. 6 versus 1 is pretty one-sided, but when you bring the probe in, a probe hit and 2 zealot hits kill a Zergling, and you can see that right there, right? Now, the other Zerglings kind of running around. 2 zealots catch them down here. And they'll push them back a little bit, but probably go back towards Sziky's base if I had to guess, right? Like, they're zoning them for now, and that's allowing some time for 2 more zealots to get out. Obviously, you don't want lings in your base, but if Sziky is sending units up into Bonyth's base, that means he has less units over here to defend against this incoming push. Now, a lot of lings are being produced. Bonyth keeping Sziky honest at the moment. And by the way, you see this probe going down here, and you can see these giant mineral patch lines that I was talking about before. There is a way to jump workers where you can go over on this side, and there is a gas on this side, just so you know. So it's like a little bit harder to defend if you take like a gas expansion, something like that. And obviously, if you just expand down here and your opponent gets range units behind, they can hit your workers. There's like a lot of interesting ideas behind this map. Now, back at Sziky's base, he's made a lot of Zerglings. This is a serious amount. Obviously, he needs to take a 2-gate opener very seriously. But he also has the Sunken, so it's like, I don't think Bonyth can really attack here. He continues to rally up Zealots, and this might be just to continually screw over the economy of Sziky, because look at this. 7 drones mining minerals, and that's it. It's like a lot of lings have been made. There's 12. There's another 8. So we have 20 lings here, plus we had a few that went over and attacked, right? So this is kind of a big deal. Now he walks in and sees just how many lings there are, and he's trying to get out of there. He's trying to micro through, but you can see the amount of damage dealt to these zealots. And so a great defense there by Sziky. The zealot force no longer quite as scary. A lot of drones being produced at this point. And hopefully he can recover that economy, because Bonyth, like, I think this is a great idea for a build, because he's keeping all that pressure on. He's keeping the drone count low, and then he just expands somewhere where he doesn't even need cannons, right? Like, this is a pretty safe expansion at the beginning of the game. Now, the one thing to mention, no gas back here. So Bonyth is going to be playing very gaslight. You see the Forge coming up. I wonder if he's even going to go Corsair. I could see him just going into Zealot legs and keeping pressure on, as opposed to trying to play a regular game. Because if you do go... Okay, he does go for the more regular game. Now, here's what I'm worried about with this. Okay, you're going to get your Corsairs out, but you can't really afford going Corsairs and then going High Templars while also getting +1, while also getting Zealot legs, okay? All that is too much, whereas Sziky with 2 gas easily can go Mutas if he wants, right? He can go right into Hydras, anything like that. So Sziky still has complete options on what he wants to do here, whereas Bonyth is very throttled by the amount of gas income he has, right? That would be the big problem with this opener, even though I like it and I think it's intelligent for the map. It is going to pose problems as far as his gas mining goes. So you can see already, right? Like, we don't have +1 started. He's making the Corsair. Here comes the Citadel. He has to save all his gas. It's going to take him like 20 more seconds to get legs started. It's kind of wild. Okay, so the Lynx check. They see a cannon. They see the Zealots on top of the ramp. Of course, he doesn't have full intel. He will in a moment here. As this Overlord comes down, he can kind of scout and see what's going on. You see the double gas, by the way. These are not full geysers. They're 2,500. This is like an important thing. Anytime you have a base that's incredibly hard to get to, if you give it full gas, Zerg becomes a bit overpowered in Zerg vs. Terran, specifically. Because, yeah, that game, like Zerg vs. Terran, is all about the amount of gas that Zerg can mine and keeping pressure on them to keep that low. So, yeah, that's why you generally see on any map that looks like this, the lower geysers that are kind of hidden away. Now, Sziky taking another base in the bottom right here. That's another main, by the way. And, I mean, he's got a pretty healthy drone count now. 30 drones against 36 probes. Already +1 missiles, and we have a Spire coming up. So, kind of a funny build. He's also got the Hydralisk Den out in front. Of course, the Corsair of Bonyth has done some good scouting so far. Looks like he is deciding with all those extra minerals to go ahead and expand to this additional gas, which is, of course, incredibly important. He will have to put up some cannons here, very likely. More Sunkens being made by Sziky. Where is he putting those down? Ah, okay, so he's going very turtly anti-Zealot here. You can see the Spore underneath. Triple Sunken. This is a really weird-looking game, I have to say. Like, and this is why, again, we've seen this map spawn so many other maps, because you really do get some interesting scenarios here that you never see elsewhere. Like, have you ever seen a game that opened quite like this, into this many minerals, and then Sziky is doing like such a heavy turtle here? This almost looks like a BGH game, right? Just mostly static D going up. Now, the Zealot's running through multiple sides here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and find this hatchery. That's a little bit brutal. That's got to hurt as Sziky. In the meantime, the Lynx come over for a little bit of a counterattack, and, well, I mean, they take some shields off that. Not the biggest deal. Of course, with that many Sunkens, you can't really go in with those Zealots. With the 3 Zealots finding this 4th base location, that just dies for free. There's no real way for Sziky to stop that right now. But he is hatching 6 Mutalisks, 7 Mutalisks here, against a Bonyth that doesn't really have Corsairs. What's he got for anti-air? He's got these 3 cannons, this cannon. Nothing, basically, okay? This is bad news right now. 2 Corsairs. Bad news for Bonyth. So let's see how he ends up dealing with this. I'm definitely nervous for him. There's an additional cannon. Still nothing in this mineral line. And still nothing in this mineral line. He has the pylons, like he could make them, and here you go. Comes in and immediately is going to go ahead and destroy both of these Corsairs. Dude, I don't know how Bonyth is supposed to stay alive here. He's throwing down cannons immediately, but these Mutas are going to make a beeline to his base. And as soon as they get there, they're going to destroy. Like, there's a couple goons being made. That's the last line of defense for anti-Mutalisk, is making goons while the Mutas are in your base. It's like this sign that a Protoss player has lost the game. Now, the Zealot's going in for a counterattack. This is really Bonyth's only chance, as those Mutas destroy absolutely everything. And it looks like the Zealots, I don't think they're going to make it that far. They're like destroying the Sunkens. The drones are doing a good job adding some additional damage as well. The Zealots are still at like reasonable health here, but there are a lot of units being made by Sziky. Looks like the mutas do have to come back to just make sure that these get cleaned up. But honestly, Sziky still has 30 drones. He's still doing pretty well economically. Yeah, he's lost his static D, but that's what it was for. It bought all that time. And you know what? Actually, he's getting a couple drones. How many drones is he going to get? No, it doesn't look like it's going to be that many. It goes down to 26. And, of course, a couple Zealots in the back here. Very annoying, but those will be dealt with as well. Well, I mean, it was some damage for sure. Sziky, by the way, hopping a drone over to go ahead and take the double gas. That's kind of fun. And will Sziky stay on that Mutalisk tech? I think he will. I think he probably should. Because the Corsair count is still very low. We do not have that +1, which is so critical for the Mutalisk defense as well. And Sziky taking the double gas... Like, why else would you take this if you did not want to continue down that Mutalisk route, right? Hydras don't require that much gas. Obviously, there are some different paths you can go on. You could end up going for, like, Mass Lurker into Hive type of things. Now, here come the Mutas. 2 cannons, not quite enough in this situation. Looks like they'll ignore those and just kill a couple probes. Back off for now. Obviously, as soon as you start to hit, the Corsair is going to fly towards that area. And notice how Bonyth doesn't go all the way down. The Mutas left, so he has them in a closer position, but a position that can react to wherever those Mutas show up. More gateways on the way here for Bonyth. Sziky, well, he's still not really mining from these geysers. I really like the idea of taking the double geysers. It's not something I've really seen in Zerg vs. Protoss. Well, I guess I haven't seen games on Outsider in quite some time. Lots of macro hatches are up. His drone count is very healthy here once again at 44. Robo coming up as well as that Dragoon range. So Bonyth going to try to get into a more normal game from here. Corsairs, of course, as soon as they see the Mutas, go over towards them. Hydralisk speed on the way right now for Sziky. This is so interesting to see this economy balancing, right? Because it's like... He's got a ton of drones on minerals right now, and obviously 2 of those bases are mineral-onlys. So he's popped over to take these additional gases. His macro looking very, very strong at the moment. His drone count is really healthy. So it feels like the macro Sziky is about to explode. Like, look at these hatches just ready to produce. Bonyth getting ready for a double gas down here as well. Oh my god. Dude, this is actually really, really fun right now. If he takes both these gases, yeah, they're only 2,500, but the overall gas income is so fast because you're going to have 2 of them, right? So he's going to be able to add in things like High Templars in huge amounts. Now, that is some amazing moving shots from the Corsairs and great splitting from Sziky to save what he could. At least he knows that the double gas is on the way. Lots of Dragoons being made by Bonyth right now. He's certainly going to come out with an extremely strong army. Sziky expanding once again. Getting ready for really mining out a hell of a lot of the map right now. Wow, what a wild, wild game. By the way, you can see here... Rally points can be a little bit of an issue on this map. The AI of units, like when you tell them to come out, you have to find good rally points. So a lot of times, like for instance, this hatchery looks to me like it's rallied about here. The way that these are dancing on the edge, you'd probably more likely want to rally it somewhere like here. And then you can do something like rally this hatchery to there as well, these 3 hatches to there, and then just have like a positional hotkey to send everything down. But just something to mention that you can get units stuck pretty easily as Zerg on this map. Well, any race, but obviously Zerg is macroing out of all of their mining structures as well. So it might end up being a little bit of a problem. Now, Bonyth moving out with a huge army at the moment. There are some Sunkens here, but that's not a lot for this army, right? Like the 2 Sunkens, he's going to roll over that relatively quickly. We don't have any Lurkers yet. The Lurker upgrade is, in fact, coming. This is looking pretty scary, though. All right, storms go down. He is coming up for the flank here. High Templar gets picked off. Plenty of storms up here, though. Oh, man, another storm goes off right there. A lot of the Hydras in the back getting absolutely shredded right now. And I don't know. This could be the end of it. Looks like a storm goes off onto those Hydras. Oh, my God. These storms are absolutely insane. There's still a lot of Hydras and Lings being made, but Bonyth continues to get forward here, getting so much damage dealt out. He has some great upgrades as well. 1-1. He is against a +2 from the Hydras. Hydras coming down the ramp right now. And Sziky looking like he might end up losing this base. The Hydralisk Den will go down with it. And that's going to be it. GG. Looks like Bonyth going to be able to take this series 4-2.